good evening to everyone. I would like to welcome you all in this webinar. I, Jeet Kakkad, Secretary of Rajkot Branch of Vikasa of ICAI, welcomes you all to this first webinar on MS Excel for Work. Though the current lockdown situation has prevented you all from undergoing articleship and academic training, we have come up with this webinar series to help you continue your learning. We believe you all shall take maximum benefit thereof in the upcoming days. With these words, let us move forward to begin the session. I invite C. Hardik Vyas sir, Chairman of Rajkot Branch of Vikasa, to address you all.
Thank you, Jeet. My dear students, greetings from Rajkot Branch of Vikasa. I hope you are at your best in terms of health. Yes, we have challenging time, but we will overcome this tough time very soon. We at Rajkot Branch of Vikasa planning very innovative and useful initiatives for you all. I am very happy to be with you all in this very first event of Rajkot Branch of Vikasa. Today, we have come out with very relevant topic, that is Excel for work, for which we have with us our own C. Ankit Kothari. Ankit is very dynamic in his approach in teaching style. I am thankful him for taking today's session. I am sure that each one of you will be benefited by his worthy knowledge. Friends, we are planning several other webinars on various topics and subjects. We will be announcing soon after completion of this webinar. I would like to request you all to take active participation in study circle meeting as well. We will be out with couple of announcements regarding our upcoming events, so stay tuned. Not taking much of your time, I wish you all the very happy learning. Thank you. Over to Jeet.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Now, allow me to give a brief introduction of the speaker for today, C. Ankit Kothari sir. Ankit sir is the ex-officio of Rajkot Branch of Vikasa and subcommittee member of the Rajkot Branch of Vikasa, Rajkot Branch of WRC of ICAI. He is also the faculty for ITT and Advanced ITT training since 2 years. He has been academic faculty since 4 years. He is extremely passionate and proficient with MS Excel. I would request him to take charge, but before we move on, I would like to inform you all that currently your microphones have been kept on mute to avoid any disturbances during the session. You all are requested to note down your doubts, if any, and you shall be permitted to ask the same after the end of this session. So, thank you all, and now I would like to request Ankit sir to take the charge.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I hope I am audible loud and clear, right? So, for all of you students out there, you might be pursuing your articleship training or you may be under various levels in the CA curriculum, right? One thing that stays forever with us, starting from the initial articleship days, is MS Excel, right? So, as we can just understand, MS Excel is a tool which helps us do things efficiently, and it saves lot of our time, and it helps in data management as well as some data analysis. So the first question is, why do we have this one spreadsheet software? The reason is that it is one of the oldest. Before Microsoft launched Windows, it was already working on Excel and it had earlier versions as well. Right now, and since many years in the market, it has been the most dominant spreadsheet software and with the highest number of tools. Of course, the one fact is that Excel is not the ideal place to store the data, neither it is the ideal place to do analysis, but considering the constraints of a chartered accountant, we are not absolutely proficient with coding and data handling. Excel becomes a very vital tool for us so that we can go about in our day in day out activities, in our articleship, and beyond that maybe in our practices and our jobs, right? So today we have certain things that we'd like to learn initially about data. How do we go about handling the data? How we present this, and some best practices in MS Excel. So we start with the first topic that we have, which is what is data, right? So I have a simple statistical model or statistics input or demographic input of our country. As you can see at the very bottom of my Excel workbooks, I've got several worksheets lying under there. I shall color them so that you can differentiate all of them, right? So all these sheets that are colored in yellow, I'm talking about these sheets. Now, as you can just read them, they say west, east, north, south, central, and northeast, right? These are the various regions that we can divide our country into based on the geographical factors. Now, every such sheet has got a small table within that says certain particulars about the state and the name of those state. As you can just read, we're in the western region, right? The western region has got 4 states, which are Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Goa, as well as 2 union territory. One is Dadra and Nagar Haveli, and the other is Daman and Diu, right? We have some figures relating to these things. They are whether what is the population here, what are their classification, that is it a state or is it a UT? What is the population density and what is the area of these states, right? So of course, we are not going into numbers. These may be a couple of years old, but this is what we have right now to work upon. Now, as we can observe, we have been through such data or such information quite often in our time frame in articleship and earlier on. What we call this is a standard thing, which is a cross tab. So what is a cross tab? If we just go a little bit little into the flashback, in our 11th and 12th, okay, we had certain topics in statistics where we used to make these tally marks. અને આપણે આવું કઈક table, we used to make one of these tables, right? I try to keep in English, not knowing if the audience is compatible or not, right? So I'd stay in English rather. I'd make a small table that we all did way back when we were in 11th, right? We had this thing, say standard. So we had standard 1, 2, and 3. Under the standard, we had 2 segments, boys and girls in all of them. So we had them here. And on the other side, we had the name of the location or the building name where these kids are studying. So we can say building 1, we can say building 2, and subsequently building 3, right? And inside this, we had certain numbers. Those numbers were the students that were studying within these criteria. So we all have dealt in with such data time and again whenever we are dealing with either say stats or even in our articleship. Now what happens is, this is a simple cross tab. This format is good for the sake of presentation, but the question always arises is that is this good for the sake of storing the data and analyzing it? The answer may turn out to be no. And what is the reason? Because every person shall have a different perspective of what he wants to analyze using the data. I'll give you a small example. This same thing can be presented in a different way, which is this. You can see I have got 2 set of data that we all can see on my screen. One set is this, which I've colored in yellow, and the other set is this one, which I've colored in green. Now, you cannot deny the fact that both of them can be useful to some person. You may also change the level. You can classify boys and girls under the building instead of classifying them under the standard 1, 2, and 3. So there are n number of ways you can present the data. There is no single guideline for the same. Now the trouble is, you do not know what the user wants when the user is talking about the data. So that is one thing. Now, how do we go about these troubles? So the standard thing is, the first task we have to understand is how the data is stored and how can you enable yourself to comply with those norms, right? Okay, so the first thing, considering that we are talking about data and large amount of information, we'd understand one thing: the best place to store a data is a database, right? So if we want to adhere to some guidelines, what we can do is we can copy the way a database shall be storing some data, right? So before that, I'd like to bring you to some drawbacks that I have rather than going into data. So here we all have this one table that says few number of states and total population. Now, as of now, if you observe here, I have Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra, Kerala, Pondicherry, and Lakshadweep. I am missing out on one state, which is Telangana, right? Now, what happens is whenever there's some updation in the data, whatever we update, we want it to be automatically reflected in the final answer. Now, if you see here, I have a formula which depicts the total of all these states. If I just press F2, you can read here, it says sum D4 all the way till I4. That is the population of all these states. Now just observe as to what happens when I update this info, right? I just pull Telangana from here and paste it in the right location. Now the thing is, the total did not update, right? We were expecting that something would happen, Excel would somehow help us, but what happens is the total does not update. How you can update it? Very simple. You can just replace the I instead with J and then hit enter. Your data is now updated. But the trouble is that this requires some human intervention, and human beings, as we all know, we tend to forget. So if you miss out on correcting this one formula from this I to a J, all your subsequent workings shall fall apart and you will not be able to rely on the same data, right? The same happens if we just insert a small chart along with this, right? We'd go about inserting a small chart. Yeah, we have this chart. It says, you all can see this. It's the same data represent in a chart format. It shows the total population. Okay, we can just reduce the range to only the population. It shows one by one Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra, Kerala, Pondicherry, and Lakshadweep. So it has got all these states and the populations lined up. Now this is a simple chart. Again, I'd show you the same thing. I cut this part and paste the whole thing here. Still, the table, despite the fact that I can refresh it, it would not auto update to include the last column that I just added, right? So these are certain drawbacks, or these are certain shortcomings that we every time face when we are dealing with such large amount of info. So now moving on, what we would want to do now, first thing, in order to learn Excel, I have a small trick of my own. It's nothing from the book, but two facts I always remember, right? The first thing is you have to be a bit on the lazy side, right? You have to feel bored to work a lot with numbers where there is a simple logic available, right? You have to be a little lazy. This laziness will cause you to think in another direction that says there has to be an easy way out. See, understand, we are not talking about shortcuts. These are the optimum ways out. It is by making the best use of the tech and the tools that we have, right? So yes, the first thing is you have to be a little lazy and feel that this thing can be accomplished using a device or a computer or a tool, right? So the second phenomenon is that you need to have faith, right? So laziness and faith, two things in order to optimize the way you work with Excel, right? So these are two simple policies that I usually follow. Fine. So now what happens is that there has to be an optimum way how we'd go about it. So we were talking about databases. As it turns out, databases have a fundamental component as a part of their structure, and that component is called a table, right? So if you can just see or observe what a table looks like, a table is something of this sort. Say we are having a small birthday party and you want to invite some people to your birthday party, right? How do you go about making a list? Fine. So the first thing you will intuitively do, it is not something which is taught to you explicitly, but this is how we go about doing things, is that you give a heading, that is name, and maybe you would give a classification or a category as to what this person is. Is this person your friend? Is this person part of your family? Is this person your neighbor, or maybe a fellow student, right? So what you can do is you can write down the names and then maybe the classification. Say you can write down family, you can write down friend, you can write down colleague, right? Fine. So this list would go on and on and on. Maybe say you have got 150 people, then this list would go on repeating itself all the way till a very long phase, and then you'd end the whole list. Fine. So what happens is that the list that you have here shall continue naturally in a vertical dimension. It does not go horizontally, right? If you have a book, you make a vertical list in the book, then you move to the next page. Then you again fill that page, then you again move to the next page. Now, as it turns out, you do not write horizontally. That is filling up one line, right? How would you write horizontally? If you can just imagine, you write the first line on every page, turn the page, first line again on the next page, turn the page, first line again, first line. Then after the whole book is over, you come to the second line of the first page and then fill the second line in all the pages. It is not how data usually works, right? So intuitively, we are designed to store data in a vertical format and then scroll it vertically. Every data, be it a website, be it an Excel workbook, be it your normal books, be it the books of accounts, anything is stored in a vertical format. Even our journal entries that we pass, we go one below the other. So that is the intuitive way of storing the data and how we go about it. So these are few things that we learned, right? Now, what are the pros and cons and what are the best practices? So if we just move about why do we want to follow these, right? So first up, we will have a look at few best practices that we can all follow. Okay, so these are the numbers. I've got 11 points for ourselves. Particulars, right? We have got 11 points for ourselves. The first one being column, every column to have an adequately descriptive heading, right? Just we'll have a look at all of these, then we start comparing it with the data that we had back in this one sheet, right? So we'll keep on comparing both of these time and again. Fine. So what happens here, we'd again pull Telangana out of this and place it at the very end. That's how it should be. Fine. Now we'll keep on analyzing one by one. Every column should have an adequate heading, right? So fine. Here, as we see every column, so vertical lines, as we say, are columns. So here, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra, Kerala, we have got proper headings. Fine. So first criteria in this case might be fulfilled. Moving on to the second one, no blank headings or auto-generated headings. In Excel or in any given day, it may often happen that you skip writing a couple of states here. Now, no one on this earth can just imagine that what these two blank spaces are. And Excel often does is it auto names these columns into column 1 and say a column 2. Now the trouble is you don't know what these column 1 and column 2 are. So the best practice is you have to give a proper heading, and that heading should be written by you and not the auto generated ones, right? You cannot have duplicate headings anywhere. The headings cannot repeat. No formula are permitted in the heading. The top row should be devoid of any calculations or any formula. You have to simply punch in or type the particulars that you want. In the whole data that you have, no single cell should be merged, right? I would give you an example, and I would also say why this is bad at the end of this session. If we can just stay, I think, yes, we can just stay here, right? As you see, this data has got two cells that show the first standard. What you can do is merge these two cells. Right now, they are not that much visible in terms of merging. I would apply borders and then you will be able to see, right? So yeah, it even merge these two. And then now what we can do is apply the border. You can see all of these cells. Now, as you observe, these three cells that we have, they are merged, two cells are merged into one, and then our data is stored. Now, this is not the best way of dealing with things, so you never merge a cell in the data. Sixth being uniformity in the data across column. Now, this is where an important thing, or this is where this table would fail. Every column should have uniform data, as in if I say a vertical column, then every field should be of same type containing similar data, right? Here the trouble is, I in one cell in the column I have the classification, whether it is a state or a union territory. In the next one I have the number of the people living there. Subsequently I have the density per kilometer. So this is where this table would fail. It does not have a uniformity in the whole column. Fine. The second says the same thing, same data type and formatting in each column. Then the eighth one, if at all you want to have totals. Now understand, totals are not to be kept in the raw data. They are a part of the end result and not a part of the raw data. Still, if you want to have them, you can have them at the very bottom or at the very top, not on the sides. The next one is data has to be vertical. We have already talked about this. Then no cosmetic enhancement. Some of us spend so much of time enhancing the looks of how your final data looks in Excel that we forget about the core thing, that it is about understanding the numbers and not a visual cue, right? Not to say that having a good presentation is always important, but rather than we putting in the efforts, we would allow Excel to do the hard work for us. The last one, related data must be in one single table. This is again where this table fails. As you see, south, north, east, west, central and northeast, all these are related tables. They are various states in the same country. They can be compared time and again, yet they lie in different locations, right? So this, as we see, is not the best way how you can store data, right? So now what is the best practice, or how does an optimum data look, that I am about to show you. Before that, just an emphasis on the word. I have been repeatedly speaking the word, which is data. As you can simply understand the difference between two words. One is data, the other being information. Information is a processed version of the data that you can share with someone. You can derive conclusions from it and you can make some analysis out of it. Data, on the flip side, is just an optimum storage such that it enables good information to be portrayed. So data has to be kept raw, unformatted, and uniform. Now we will move on to how you can optimally store data in Excel. So I already have a tab prepared. It has the same info that the other sheets had, just a more refined or an optimized version for the same, right? You can maybe remove a few columns if we do not need them and just reduce it to a simpler thing. Yeah. So as you can see here, it is very much visible. We have a serial number, we have the name of the state, region where it falls, which are these same east, north, south, central, northeast, west, whatever we call them. The classification, maybe state or union territory, the population that we have in each of these, rural, urban, total area, density indicator, and a density number. So this is the way you can optimally store data. Now, if we go back to our best practices and then try to see again, what we can see here is it does not, as we see, every column has a heading, right? Every heading is a different heading. It's not repeating in any sense. Then the next is no duplication, no formula in heading. As you can see, everything is typed. There are no formula, no calculations there. No merging. You cannot simply say, okay, you need to merge two cells. You have to keep all these cells separate despite the fact that they are same. It may so happen that you can always do this. Say you filter it A to Z. So as it happens, all the region are clustered together. You should not, but you can do this. So this is an example of how some people store it. You can just merge all of them. Yes. So these three are samples of what people often do, but the practice is that this should never be done, because each of these row, if you understand just this first row, which is Madhya Pradesh. Now Madhya Pradesh is a record. That record has an attribute. That attribute is central, and it should have its own independent attribute. Now this word, which is central, is shared between two states, which is Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. Now Excel or any data processing software would often confuse itself as to where it belongs. So rather than doing that, what you can do is, though it would look a repetition of information, but this is how an optimal data should be stored. Then the next is every column should have uniformity. So as you can see, every column, so you say population. So this population column, right? I've got numbers in the heading. If I can just remove them for the sake of understanding, right? Say this data has been fetched from Wikipedia, none of my own creations. So if you can just see them, every column heading is a unique heading, and it only contains that information underneath, right? So column uniformity is maintained. Data has to be vertical. Of course, this is vertical. You have to scroll down and not sideways. You can scroll down all the way till you want. If it's United States of America, you would have 50 entries. In case it's India, you have got some 36 entries, right? Then no cosmetic enhancement. I've not done anything to this data. Yes, I've had comma separators, of course, because they enable me to, if at all I want to just see look at the data, I can just have a good look at the numbers. So that's just the one thing. Comma separators are always good rather than just having the first one. I believe we are able to just have a look at this. Rather than having this, I would prefer to have the other one, so that I better can read the numbers. So that's one formatting that I've done. Nothing more than that. I've not spent time behind any cosmetic surgeries. Related data must be in one table. So this is a major achievement that we have here. All north, south, east, west are clustered into one single table, and now they can be compared to each other in this single table, right? One more tip: none of the attributes should be in the heading. Now, as you see here, even these tables fail in that sense. You have got some vital part that is forming part of the heading. Now, as data processing goes, you cannot process the heading. They are strictly meant for show purpose. They just give a name to what the information lies. So this is an optimum version of what we can have. Now you all must be thinking, why so much fuss about the data? What are we going to achieve in the end? Fine. So we will move forward and see now what we can do with these things, right? So moving on, we have this one big large table. As you can see, I think my screen should be visible to everyone. Yeah, just a moment. I think you have got some bigger real estate to have a look at. And yes, you've got the whole data. Now, one trouble that some people always face, and which I showed to you, that the moment we add Telangana here, this does not auto update. So there's a standard solution to it, which we all should follow. First, I just remove the filters from here. I would arrange it the way it was originally. So that's smallest to largest. Yeah, you have it back. And now what we would do is, rather than just inserting filter, we would insert a table, right? Now, most of us would be knowing how to insert a table for, okay, just a brief. This is not a hands-on tutorial where I will be grabbing your hands and taking you all the way through, but this is more of a potential show of Excel as to how you can make best use of it, right? Moving forward, if you say you want to implement these things, there's always help available around. So you can take help from maybe online videos, you can take help from colleagues, and of course the institute Rajkot branch itself. So there are various ways of learning this, but this is majorly how we can go about doing things. So I stay a little quick with this. So how do you insert a table? You select the whole data, right? You can press Control A or just Control Shift bottom and right arrow key, and the whole data is selected. You go to insert and you have this option. Right now it's disabled since I've already added one, right? The moment I go to a blank cell, I can see this table option enabled, right? So that's how you insert a table. Now, as it happens, now if you just insert a formula, say you want to make a total of the population of each state, which is I want to know the grand total of the country's population, what I can do is I can simply press Alt equal to insert the sum function. If I believe it should be visible to everyone, that's the sum function. I grab the first part and I go all the way till the very end and I hit enter, right? Now, as you can see, the formula is not the traditional formula that we used to have. It does not. Okay, so you can have two options. One is equal to sum and then just give the range itself, which is E3 all the way till what do we have at the very end? It is E38, right? So E3 to E38. So this is the final formula. So both of them give the same answer, but the trick or the good part about this one is that it says that table 3 and population is the column. So whatever forms part of this column should be added to the sum. So right now, say we do not have any new entries, since this is, we are talking about a country and we don't have new stakes being added, but someday, say you have a Kashmir that subsequently transforms into three things, which is maybe a separate Jammu, maybe a separate Kashmir, and maybe a Ladakh, then what happens is you can just add Ladakh here, right? Just don't mind the spelling. I'm not going into it. And you say you write some amount in the population. And what happens is that this formula shall auto upgrade due to the fact that the table has extended itself to a larger area. As you can just see here, this formula has auto upgraded. Even all the charts and everything shall auto upgrade in case you have this formula where it refers to a field in the table, right? So it's generally more helpful to us if we insert table, and it's a recommendation for everyone, right? So that's how we go about. Now, talking about the perks of the table, we'll start with making a small dashboard for starters, or we start with as to how these things can be handled, right? We already have this. What we do is we go to insert and then make a, initially we start with analyzing the whole thing by making a pivot table, right? I click on pivot table. I can say anywhere within this whole table, either on the headings or on the subsequent parts, and then I can go back to insert, click on pivot table. It says table 3. Okay, now coming back to an important aspect that we have here, you all must be having your birth certificates with you. Now, the first field that your birth certificate has, it says name, and then there's a blank area besides the name. That blank area contains the name that is given to you as a child. Now that name is particular to you and it identifies you uniquely. So you have a name all by yourself, and that is how people know you. The name segment cannot simply write down a word that says boy or girl. It is not something unique. You cannot have the word boy in place of a name. You cannot have the word girl in place of a name. You need to have a separate name for each one of you. Now, what happens is in this scene, if you have a look at the table, and if you go to the design part, I will take a moment to enlarge this. If yeah, I can just pause it. Yeah, okay. I think now would be visible in a much better way. Can share my screen again, right? So if you go to the design in the ribbon, you see here they say the table name, and the table name reads table 3. Now this is like calling someone a boy. You cannot simply call table 3. You need to give it a unique name. So what I can do is I can just remove this component that's table 3 and I can give it a good name, that is demographics, or just say data, right? So I can give it a name data, and therefore my table now has a name. So now the boy has a unique name, or now the girl has a unique name to it. Now we'd go to insert, click on the pivot table. Now as you read here, it says select a table or a range. We have selected the data. Moving on, it says choose where you would want the pivot table to be placed. So here it says a new worksheet. Fair enough. We just click OK and we are taken on to a new place. Now pivots, most of you should be familiar with. I don't know if you are or not. Now pivots is another session all by itself where you can learn it. Right now I'll not go deep into it, but I will show what a pivot can do. Fine. So we pick up the region, so it's visible at the left. I hope you all can see it. We pick up the classification, that's the state or the union territory, so you are able to see it again. Now what we do is we pick up the name of the state. Yeah, so we have the name of the, yeah, we already have the name of the state. I think what else can we add here? Say we move back to the data. Yeah, we have the classification that maybe we can add. So central, then we add the classification and then the name of the state. Subsequently, all the fields on which you perform a mathematical operation shall be placed in the values part, which you can see here on the bottom right of Excel. It says values, right? So here we have few fields on which we can perform some mathematical calculation. One is population, the rural, the urban, the area in square kilometer, and the population density. For the sake of simplicity, right now we'll only take one parameter, and that's the population. So as you see here, without much of any effort, what we have managed is a good classification for our data for one parameter, that's population. As you see here, your data is already formatted. The headings are shown in bold. The totals are visible in bold. The classification, filter, everything is done, and the totals are in place. Now, few benefits of why we do this. One is you can easily handle a pivot, right? You can shrink it to a small level. Right now I've shrunken my pivot to a very small level that only shows me all the regions. Now if I want to analyze any specific region, right, so I want to analyze the western region of India, I shall click on west, and what I get are two more classifications, right, states and union territory. Now as you can see, the UT in this region is quite insignificant, the reason being just Dadra Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. So if we do not want to analyze them, we now click on the state. And as you see, you are able to view the four states that form part of the western region and its population. So you can easily analyze any big data and present it in this pivot format so that the viewer gets full control of what he is wanting to see. Yes, you can expand it to the full level by just pressing a plus and minus list button in the analyze ribbon. Yeah, you can just click on plus and it drops down to the next level. You can click the plus sign again and it drops down to the extreme last level. Now some of you might still be saying that it looks a little plain, a little off flavor. So what you can do is apply some colors to it. You can simply click on any cell in the table, then just go to design, click on the drop down button and pick any design or color element that you want. And now your table remains a colored. So as of now, what we have done is the only thing you need to give Excel good data. Bad data has to be arranged, filtered, sorted, whatever you want to do, but it has to be in a tabular format. The table cannot have any blank rows, blank columns. As just I demo it to you, what happens if you've got these blank things. If we can just try doing it, and if it works around, you can say just arrange this A to Z. Fine, and you delete some things. Say these two are central, so you don't want to keep this, you delete it, right? All these are east, so you've already written east in the first one. So we used to do this when we used to write repeat things. We just have a double quote and it's the same as what's on the top. So maybe some of you might be willing to do this, that I just have something of this sort. I'm bored of writing things, and maybe I skip the name of maybe an Orissa, or I skip the name of maybe a Chhattisgarh, right? And now what happens is I go back to my pivot and I just click a refresh, and the whole thing is in chaos, because as you see at the very bottom, would have some scrap values that do not fall in place in any given specific location. Say you have got this double quote, you don't know what on earth this is, right? And then you have got this blank and you don't even know what on earth this is, right? So these things are gray area. In order to avoid them, as I said, you can have these best practices that says no blank cells, nothing. So we revert back these changes. Yeah, we get all the names back that we want. Yeah. And then we move forward, right? So this sheet is now a full analysis of what we can see. It does not simply end here. We've got number of things that we can do, and you can do it multiple times. So it's not just one pivot that you can have. Of course, you can have multiple pivot tables, right? So this is one more. Say here you have got the region, you've got again the state and the UT, and then the classification somewhere in between, and then you can say what is the total area of all these states. So what happens is you have here the area. Wonderful. And again, the design, if you say, okay, use the green color the last time round, we don't want to stay with green. Okay, maybe we can use somewhere in between this red and orange shade. Pick this up, go back to maybe a sheet, and then paste it. Now, of these two analysis side by side, visible to everyone. So you're taking a presentation at your office or maybe at a client place, and you show them something of this sort versus something of this sort, that the person can analyze, he can maybe shrink it to a different level, he can expand it, he can go inside. then it usually turns out to be more effective, and the clients and of course the boss tend to like it. And rather than their satisfaction, it is our ability to analyze what lies at our hands. So that is one major breakthrough that you can achieve any given day. You are working in any place, you can optimize the way you work using these methods, right? So this is one thing, how you can make best use of tables, and you can make best use of pivots, right? Okay, now moving on to the second part that I have for today is how do you present it in a more effective way. See, we all gradually down the line understand one thing, that yes, numbers are good, but it is not very easy or very intuitive to directly understand the numbers. So you often need graphical presentation of your numbers, right? What we call as charts maybe. So you often need to have these charts and diagram sort of thing with which you can better understand the whole of the data that you have. Fine. So coming back to charts, how do you make these charts? One thing that we have been facing since a very long time is that we insert charts in Excel, but then we do not know how to arrange them, how to handle them, how to present them in a different format, and we have to accept most of the times what Excel throws at you, and which is generally something that you may not be wanting. So we will go into charts and how do you handle them. So I will just rename this as pivot tables. Always have this practice, whatever sheets you have, it's a good habit to rename them. It's also a good habit if you want to color them, right? You can do all that stuff. It is easy for you to navigate in the whole part. So I have this one thing, I have this base data. Now say I want to have some chart sort of a thing. What I can simply do is, rather than, so there are two ways of doing it. First, you select the data that you have, go to insert, and simply click on say or rather you can stay here and go to this note tab. Since this is how we often have the data, you can say go to insert and then maybe a chart. So yeah, there you have a chart. We already tried the same in south, right? I may not be wanting it this way. I may be wanting a pie. I may not be wanting certain components. Yes, of course, you can manage the whole thing using certain tools available here. Maybe just dragging this whole thing and rearranging the parts, but it is always not helpful. So what we can do is option number two, right? We go back to the original data that we have, right? We pick any cell. Now remember, whenever you are talking about a table, in Excel's brain, it is registered as a cluster. So it is able to process the whole thing in a better way. So you know that your data is lying between the cell A1 all the way down to cell, say J38. But then how would you tell Excel that this is the place where the clustered information is lying? Because since it is a very large sheet, if you go at the very end, it says 1048576. So that's 10,48,000 lines of or rows almost of data. So how does Excel know till what extent to go? So inserting a table is a good way of mapping it, right? You just go to insert, rather than so rather than inserting a table from this location, what second option we have is that we can simply add a chart from one of the pivot tables that we have. Now, how do we do it? Simple. I'd keep this sheet for these two pivot tables. I'd make a copy, so that always remember, you can always make copies of the same sheet just in case you make some mistakes or do some blunders, then you can just go back to where you were. Yeah, so I made one more. I can just name this as charts. Fine. I can remove this one portion. I just want to keep this one, and then go to insert, and I can now click on a chart. Now, as it happens, this pivot will govern this chart. Now, how do you govern this pivot? With the controller that we have, which is called as the field list. To simplify the same, what I can do is I can remove the classification and the name of the state, and this is what I get. This simply shows the region and its population, right? So as you can see, north has the highest, followed by east, followed by south, then west, then central, and the lowest in the northeast, right? I can even manipulate this in a different way. I can pick the region part from the rows or the axis, and I can place it in the columns part, and as you can see, the whole dynamics of the chart change. Initially we had these thin columns which were of one single standard color. Now as we move it here, we have got 6 different columns with 6 different colors onto it, and it's generally more understandable. If you do not want this type, you can simply go back and change chart type, and you can say I want a pie. So you have a pie here. You can have a pie. What happens by making a pivot chart is you can easily play with all these available toggles here easily, and it is intuitive. It is just a drag and a drop, right? If you want all the name of the states, you can simply say that I want the state or the UT, and then you have all the states, right? If I say you don't want the bar or you don't want the pie anymore, you can say you can have the column. So you are moving back to the column, you want different colors, you can again switch, and then you have got different colors. So it is very simple to manage a pivot chart rather than managing a simple chart with no controls offered by the pivot. So this is one thing where in Excel you can make or definitely make better use of what we have here. So we have understood this one thing, that you can make wonderful charts using this. Now going on, the target for the day is that you want to make a small dashboard sort of thing which is interactive with the user, and it shows what things are there. So you can keep a separate sheet for all these charts. Now what will we do is rename this as a dashboard. Fine. So we pull this chart from here, simple Control X to cut this thing. Then maybe you can. Okay, so it's yeah, just hold on for a second. I think the Excel just collapsed onto itself. Yeah, we are back. So we have our workbook. Okay, so we'll move back and let's see what we have here. Fine. So few minutes of our work just got lost. Any which way we can get back to there. Yeah. So we were having this sheet 4 that had the pivots with them. Then go to insert. Maybe simplify this. Yeah, and you have the area, and then simply insert a pie chart. So you have the area of the regions in the country. You can go back and place this at the very end. Name this as dashboard and then place the chart here. As you can see, we're having one chart. Now, what is our dashboard? I'll try to explain with a small example. We have often seen the cockpits in the plane, right? National Geographic Air Crash Investigation and such series. So you have often seen all these examples of the plane cockpit. Now, if you just have a look at the plane cockpit, the pilot has got plenty of switches, but then in the front of his eyes, he has only got a few controls, which is the speed of the plane, maybe the height of the plane, maybe the angle on which the plane is flying, which engines are running on what revs or something of that sort, and how far is the plane from the ground. So these are few vital information that the pilot would forever need to fly this plane in an effective manner, right? He must be, he has hundred of things, but then he should focus only on few of them, which are quite essential, right? So what we can do here is we can have such 5 indicators on which we can focus. So here, as we all see, we've got this one thing, and then it is based on a pivot here. So we would name them pivots, and we can make more of them. So you just copy this. You can of course go back to the table, click on insert and then add one if that's one option, or you can just copy paste this here. Now before moving on, I'd like to show one more aspect that we have, which is slicer. Now we all are familiar with filters in Excel. I'll remove this one as of now. We are very much familiar with filters in Excel, right? If at the top row, I don't want the central and the northeast part, I want to see north, south, east, west only, then it is filtered. As you go back to the dashboard, if you see, you only have 4 regions now available. So what happens is that the moment you make any change to say this pivot, your dashboard will or the chart shall auto update, right? So here if I still go further and remove 2 more regions and just 2 left in the dashboard, I can see just 2. So what happens is that this filter or this pivot is able to handle the chart that I have here. Now it is a good way of using this filter, but there's one more way how you can use these filters, and that's by making a slicer. So how do you make a slicer? Again, very simple. Say on the table that you want to filter, go to insert, and then you have some option like a slicer. Just click on it and select the field for which you want a toggle button. So say I can have it for the state, the region, and the classification. No slicers can be applied to numbers, right? Numbers are to be calculated, they do not help in classification. So ideally slicers are to be applied to attributes. So I have 3 slicers here with me. We can just see them. Now how do they work? I'll just show you all in a minute. I can initially resize them so that they fit nice and snug on my screen. I can go to options, maybe increase the number of columns so that again they fit nicely. So again, better fitting options, and then all these states can go back to options, maybe have 3 columns. Okay, rather I am still with the region, I can jump back here, options, and then increase the column, right? So yeah, so I've had a few slicers on my screen. One shows the name of the various states, the other 2 being classification and the region, right? Now I would pick all 3, cut them and place them on the dashboard. See, understand, the controls have to be visible on the dashboard, only then they are easy to be handled, right? So again, I would go back to the dashboard, maybe one more column, and then yeah. So yes, so all these states fit nicely in this one segment. That's one thing. the classifications here, we can shrink it down to a smaller level. That's state and the UT, and then the regions here. So they fit nicely. We have got all these states. Now what happens the next is that you can add one more table to it. Now this is where the dashboard would start to take its shape. So you can copy this pivot, paste the same here, change the color so you can identify it in a more better way. Now one data or one info we have already portrayed, which is the total land area of this location. What we can do now is portray the other part, which is the total population of this location, right? Yeah. So what we'll do, we'll go back to the analyze part, show the field list, and instead of the sum of area, we can show the total population, right? So now this is upgraded. It's 121 crores now. So it's very much visible. We go back, click on insert. Again, insert, say maybe a column or a bar, place it here so that they've got vivid colors on them. Cut the same thing, go to your dashboard and paste it, right? So you right now have a pie chart showing the land area of various regions, and along with that you have something which shows the total population of those regions. Fair enough. Now how do we manage them? So I would just put these states on the side for a while. You can zoom into what I have now. Yeah. And then now if you see, I toggle UT off, I toggle northeast off, and I remove the north. What is happening? Two charts are auto updating simultaneously. I can remove south, and you see both the charts have auto updated themselves without any intervention whatsoever from me. So rather than applying filter on two different locations, I have this toggle that shows me what I need to do, right? Of course, you can select them back. You can just click on control and select multiple toggles, just as you select files or just as you select songs. You can select, unselect, whatever you want, and then all the charts will be auto updated, right? So this process can be repeated n number of times. You can go on to make more pivot tables like these, and then in the end you will have multiple charts which are governed by these slicers. So that whole makes a dashboard. If you people just wish, I could add at least a couple of them. I'll do that quickly, no explanations now. So yeah, I will now say okay, we can go back to the data and pick what we want to show. Yes. So here we can show the population density, maybe state wise. What we can pick at the very end is go back to the pivots. Again, as I said, you can have a different color so you can identify it all the time. Again, have the field list on. Instead of the region, you can have the state or the union territory, and then instead of the area, you can have the density per square kilometer. Fair enough. So we have it now. Now going to back to insert, and then again inserting a simple column, taking it here. The columns are now colored. I cut this, go back to the dashboard that we have made, and I paste it. So yeah, it has got plenty of states, so it's not very easily visible, but then we still have a graph at our sleeves. Again, the moment I toggle anything on or off, all the charts are bound to change. So say I just want to have a look at northeast and maybe a north. I'm able to see everything. I say want to have look at maybe northeast and a central, I'll be able to look at all of them. So what happens is that you have got multiple interactive, intuitive things working on a dashboard. You can make similar analysis for sales. You can make similar analysis for many of the data you have. Since we as auditors are given a wildcard access to plenty of data at the client's place, just having access to Tally means you can do n number of analytical things that maybe the client has never thought about. And considering the dynamics of a city, Rajkot is still a city where even large businesses are family owned. And when you say family owned business, it is usually a case where the directors are not liable to answer to anyone. It is amongst themselves. They may be brothers, or they may be cousins, or they may be neighbors, and they know what's going on in the factory. They do not care much about the numbers. They do not give attention to what's going on. Now, if you give them such small charts often, they'd love to see them and they'd want to go deeper into it. Being a chartered accountant is always about adding value to your customers, making them empowered so that they can take better decision, and the better decision a client takes, it is generally benefiting to him as well as the community at large. So I think this was about dashboards, and this was how the data is being made. So again, reiterating, you can have such tables. So few small things that we can cover up in some small time that we have left now. Okay, so here you have the density per kilometer, and here you have the population and everything. What you can simply do is add a few more parameters, like say what is the percentage of rural population. So that may be one parameter, and complementary to it, you will have the percentage of the urban population, right? So here we can add two fields. Again, benefit of table, I've given nice headings here. I will have to give just one formula in order for the whole table to update itself, right? So right now I can just make these things disappear. I don't need them as of now. Yeah. So in order to know the percentage of rural, I can give a simple formula that says rural by the total of the state and just hit a enter. I get a 1. I go to home and format it with percentage with 2 decimals, and I'm clearly able to see throughout the column. Urban, very simple, 1 minus what the rural is, and then I get the urban. Again, same formatting to be applicable, percentage and then 2 decimals. And now I have the rural and urban population split here. Why have we done this? Again, I will show a nice pivot if we can just analyze it again. So here we have a few already made. We'll make a new one. Copy this, paste it at the bottom. Again, go to design, maybe give it a different layout, give it a different theme. And then what we would want here is the rural and the urban percentage. So we take the state, which is the state and the UT name, and then those two fields that we just added, rural percentage and urban percentage, and we would want them to be in the percentage format. See, understand, we do not need the totals at all the places. You can just toggle them off, go to designs and just turn off the grand totals, and the totals are now gone, right? You cannot make totals out of everything. Go back to insert. We can make use of one chart type, which is 100% stacked column. Now, if you see, I have this, maybe I can just toggle around to see what happens and how it looks. No, I think this should work the best. So You cut this chart, go back to the dashboard, and maybe just in order to fit it, I can just shrink this and I can add one more, which is here. Yeah. So as you can see, I've got a few charts all by ourselves now. We can go on, use these toggles, and then they update. So this is how we can make some good dashboards. Of course, you can add the headings to all these charts. You can change the colors. You can do whatever you want, right? These are all available within the design portion of it, right? You can have some cosmetic changes, but all those are things that are to be done subsequently once we have had a good grip over how to make such a dashboard.
Now, I would like to ask CA Raivat Shah sir, ex officio of Rajkot branch of ICASA, to propose a vote of thanks to Ankit sir.
Thank you, Jeet. MS Excel is definitely one such program that is much used in the practice of chartered accountants, and having a good working knowledge regarding the same will definitely improve the analytical and presentation skills of the students. Of course, it is an ocean, but knowing the better part of it does give us a competitive edge as compared to the others. I, Raivat Shah, extend my sincere gratitude to the speaker of the day, Sri Ankit Kothari, for sharing his expertise in working with MS Excel in the office environment. I also thank all the attendees of this webinar for taking benefit of the same. I thank the entire team of Rajkot branch of ICASA for organizing this knowledge enriching session. We all did have a happy learning. Thank you.